Hey, good morning, and welcome to this episode of the Flow Show. I hope everybody is having an amazing week so far. Um, for me, it's the same old same. I don't go anywhere anyway. I'm usually in the house, so it's a great week for me. Um, we are and I say we, but Fernell, he's getting ready to send the last bird off to college. So this is kind of a prep day for him. So send out some good vibes to him. Hi, Valerie. Send out some good vibes to him. We've done this collectively 4 times already, and it it doesn't really get easier. I guess with my last one, even though she went to Atlanta, it seemed like it was a little bit easier because I'd already done it twice. But there's still that little worry in the back of your mind. But fortunately for us with this one, she'll be just up the road. But send out some good vibes to Papa Bear as he makes that journey. Um, right now it's just a practice run, but you know, it's getting those nerves out and sending that baby bird off. So I hope everybody else is having a great week. Last week, we talked about crushing procrastination with developing new habits and implementing strategies. Well, not necessarily new, but some habits that will to get help us to get better with improving our productivity. Some of those were as simple as keeping your desk decluttered, maintaining your workspace, getting up early. I don't know how many of you have tried doing that. I tried it a couple of days, and it's still a work in progress for me. Getting up early, setting goals, and keeping a separate list of incoming tasks, basically interruptions, things that aren't already on your schedule, and just knowing your motivating triggers, the things that motivate you for your specific goals and tasks. What's the motivation behind it, and knowing what that is can help you focus and get more things done. And so today, what we are going to talk about um, is productivity boosters. We're going to talk about 4 techniques that help you get shit done. And these are simple techniques, but most of the time, the things that make the biggest impact are the ones that are the simplest things. So we'll dive into that in just a second. Just want to make sure that everybody can hear me okay. As you're coming in, say hi in the comments or drop an emoji. Just let me know that you can hear me. And I want to do a really quick poll, ask a really quick question, and just let me know what you think or what you want in the comments. If you are ready to see Fernell show his face on the Flow Show, just give me a yay or nay in the comments. He talked a lot of stuff today about how he could really crush this episode and bring in, talk about the things that I'm going to be talking about today. But he's not here. I guess I'll give him a pass because of what he's doing. But if you want to see him either here by himself or sitting next to me on the Flow Show, just let me know in the comments. Hi, Sharonda. So we will go ahead and get into the 4 techniques that are going to help us boost productivity. And these are, you can do one or more of these techniques. It's not something that you have to do all together. Hey, Fernell, I was just talking about you. Um, and some of these I have done before, and it's just a matter of sticking to it, making a decision to stick to what works for you. So let's dive right in. The first one is probably familiar. Yeah, that is something to see, Valerie. So we'll work on that. We'll work on getting him here sitting next to me. The first one is one that you probably have kind of heard of from childhood, the 5-second rule. And don't say that you've never done this. I know that you've done it. But if you drop something on the floor, drop some food or something on the floor, they say you have 5 seconds to pick it up and eat it. Well, the 5 second rule is one of those techniques, productivity techniques, that help motivate us to get things done. And it was from a book that I read, and I forgot to write down the name of the author. If you know who the author is of the 5 second rule, drop that in the comments. But this book that I read, the motivator is to, when there's something that you really want to do or something that you need to do and you're procrastinating, that you count backwards from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just do it. Because if you do that, you don't give your subconscious mind and those thoughts that are lingering in your head the opportunity to take over and talk you out of doing it. So for me, with getting up early, that's a technique I could use. Once my alarm goes off, instead of saying, or feeling like, I need to snooze, or maybe I can get just 5 more minutes of sleep. If I use this technique, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just get out of bed and start my day, go do what I need to do to get moving. And in the thing behind counting backwards is, once you get to 1, that's it. Instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because if you're a major procrastinator, there are an infinite number of numbers. You can just keep counting. Okay, well, I'll go to 10. I'll go to 15. So Mel Robbins, thank you, Valerie. She's the author of the 5 second rule. Pick that book up if you haven't read it. But that's one of the techniques for boosting your productivity, getting things done, through whether it's getting up in the morning or just a task that you need to get completed. Another method that I used when I was in a membership, and some of the members would get together on a daily basis and use this method. And it's just like, if you are someone who exercises, for me, it's jumping rope, doing interval training, or when I am jumping, I will do it in intervals. If I'm trying to do my exercise or jump rope for 30 minutes a day, obviously I'm not going to jump straight 30 minutes. So what I'll do is I'll jump for maybe 1 minute or as long as I can, and then I'll take a break, a 10-second break. So with the method for boosting your productivity, it's called the Pomodoro method, and basically was named after a kitchen timer. And so the idea behind the Pomodoro method is that basically you have a specific time set aside for working. Usually it's about 25 minutes. So you set your timer for 25 minutes, and then you work for that 25 minutes uninterrupted, no phone calls, no emails or anything like that. And at the end of that 25 minutes, when the timer goes off, you put a check mark on a piece of paper, and you can take a break for 3 to 5 minutes. Then you do it over again. You set the timer again for another 25 minutes, do your work, take a break for 3 to 5 minutes. After you get 4 check marks on the paper, then you can take a longer break, maybe 15 to 30 minutes, and then get back to it. And when we did it with this group that I was with, it helped a lot of us to really get things done. Partly because we were doing it with the group, but mostly because we were focused. We had this set amount of time to get things done. Now, for some of us, especially if you're a creative, that may not work, because I know when I'm working on a creative project and I really get in the flow, I don't want to be interrupted. But it's something that you can try. Like I said, you don't have to try all of these methods. Try it and see what works for you. If you've ever done the Pomodoro method, let me know in the comments and let me know how it's worked out for you. And it's something that you can actually do. Like I mentioned, I did it when I was in a membership, and we did it with using Zoom. So if you have accountability partners or people that you just want to work with virtually, get some work buddies, it's something that you can definitely do virtually using Zoom or some other type of conference software. And that accountability is another step in helping you to boost your productivity. The next thing is keeping a time diary. And basically what this is something that I do on a higher level in my program with my clients. And it's part of the time management piece and helping them to manage their time at the beginning of the program to actually find, because one of our biggest excuses when we're about to tackle something really, really big is that we don't have enough time. And so using this method, it helps them to identify time or to rearrange some things to save or make time to get the work done that we're going to be doing over that 12-week period. But this, I'm not going to go deep into that. This is just the first part of it, keeping a time diary, where for a day, 1 to 3 days, basically you're writing down everything you do. When you're working on a task, if you take a phone call, if you're updating your website, every time you do something, you write it down and write down the time, write down how much time you spent doing it, and do this for, like I said, a day to 3 days. And then at the end of that time, go back and look at all of the tasks, everything that you've done, how you've spent your time, and look at where you've wasted time. And you'll find for most of us that we do waste a lot of time, whether it's playing games, video games on social media, reading emails when we probably shouldn't be. Like I said before, email is not an emergency. It's something that can be scheduled, but you'll find a lot of places where you may have wasted time talking to a family member on the phone. I know when I get phone calls, I'll usually answer. I'll usually answer them, even though I know that is something that can wait. So just look at where you're wasting time and look at things that you probably shouldn't be doing, things that you can delegate. Just go through that list and assess how you can make improvements. What can you eliminate? What can you do to make better use of the time that you have? And that's a good place to start in seeing probably which one of these techniques or what habits from last week you need to implement to get better at time management and improving your productivity. And then the last thing, and this obviously isn't going to be that long. I'd rather give you some quick bites that you can take immediate action on than to just sit here all day and ramble on about nothing. But the last thing, and this was the thing that Fernell said that he would run circles around me on, which is cool, and maybe we'll get him to do that next time. Fernell, if you're still watching and you have some tips on time blocking, drop them in the comments. Share them with us. So, Sharonda, last week you said that time blocking was something that you were thinking about implementing. And when you are using time blocking, it's a technique or a method that helps you to focus strategically on your important task. Helps to maximize your effectiveness. So when you're doing that, you take specific blocks of time and work on it's planned. It's something that's planned and not random. So the three primary blocks when you're time blocking are strategic blocks, buffer blocks, and breakout blocks. With the strategic blocks, you're going to be working on strategic and money-making activities. So did you actually get started on that, Sharonda, or are you still thinking about it? And with your strategic block, you're going to take and set aside or plan, actually schedule a 3-hour block of uninterrupted time. It's scheduled in advance. And remember what I said before, it needs to be written down. It needs to be scheduled because if it isn't written, it isn't real. And during this time, you're not taking any phone calls, no emails, no visitors, no just random getting up. It's okay. I mean, if you have to use the restroom, you have to use the restroom. But just random snack moments. I know for me, I can be working on something that I really don't want to work on, and all of a sudden I'm thinking about, oh, I have this snack in there I can go eat, or I can go and cut up this mango and eat that. The purpose of this is to make sure that you are really focused on the task at hand. And when you're focused like this on the using this technique or time blocking, it helps you to focus all of your energy on the task instead of, like I said, just basically being scatterbrained and thinking of all the different things that you can be doing. If you're someone who works from home, thinking about chores that need to be done. If someone left a dish in the sink, well, you think, oh, I need to go wash dishes, even though it's two dishes in the sink. Or, oh, I need to go wash clothes. So when you have strategic blocks, it helps you to stay focused on the task at hand. The other thing, the next block of time are the buffer blocks. And these are just like it says, it's a buffer in time. And last week we talked about keeping a running list of tasks that aren't planned. If somebody comes and drops something on your desk or wants you to do something, well, with these buffer blocks, you schedule 30 to 60 minutes in a day where you can set aside that time to work on those tasks if it's something that you deem essential enough to get done in that day. And when you group things like this, your unplanned tasks, things that people bring to you, they didn't plan, so now it's all of a sudden your emergency. But when you group tasks like this, it can help you to reduce inefficiency so that you're not stopping and taking time away from your important things, but you're making time to get these things done, and it helps to give you back more control of your day. If you're still thinking about it, Sharonda. Okay, well, it's time to get it done. The last one that we'll go into is breakout blocks, and just let me know because I didn't check in at the beginning. We were all supposed to be committing to at least 7 days, but 21 to 30 days of implementing one of the strategies from last week or trying to pick up one of the habits. So let me know if you actually did choose one of those habits or strategies to try to work on for at least 7 days. So just let me know that in the comments. I actually intentionally did better. I didn't wake up today and work on this. I actually prepared ahead of time for today's episode, and then I've also planned for next week's episode. And later this week, I'll plan out the next, maybe the next 2 or 3, the content for the next 2 or 3 episodes. And hopefully we'll get Fernell's face in one or all of those. The last one is the breakout blocks. And breakout blocks, this is something that as business owners we overlook. I know I'm speaking for myself. I can spend all of my time sitting at my desk all day working. And especially when I get into a zone, I can work all day long for days or for weeks. And I don't make it a point, or it's not intentional for me to get up and go away and do something, whether that's taking a weekend off, taking a vacation. Now, I know Valerie is notorious for taking a break from social media. I don't know what you do when you once you get off of social media, but I have noticed that you are intentional about taking a break from social media, but actually setting some time to take away from work is very helpful, not just for personal, for your own personal enjoyment, because it helps to refresh you, rejuvenate you, and it helps to boost that creativity. So with breakout blocks, okay, Valerie, so you do it quarterly. great is better than than I than me, because I don't do it at all, because I'm so focused on what it is that I have to do. I have it in my mind, and having the and I guess for me, freedom is actually being able to do what I want to do. And with me being a homebody, just planning to go out and, be on vacation or just go out to do things. I know right now during this pandemic, that's not something that we can really do, but that's not something that's front of mind for me, because I'm just as content sitting at home doing nothing or working. But with the breakout blocks, you'll schedule a minimum of 3 hours once a week to actually get up and get away from work, whether you work at home or whether you have an office, but get up and get out and do something that's not work related at all. So that could be going out for lunch, meeting friends for lunch, not talking about business, going to get a massage, um, going for a walk, going out to a park if you have a park nearby, going just to sit out in the park and read a book, but getting away from work. And I find that for me, even though I may not take breaks away from the house or away from my office, if I take an hour or so a day to go and just watch some brain numbing TV, I have my shows that are my guilty pleasures, and then every now and then we may run across some trash TV that we wouldn't necessarily, usually watch. But it's something to just kind of break up the cycle of what I'm doing, just sitting at my desk or sitting at my computer working, but just taking that break, getting up and walking away can help to boost productivity. And I know that if I'm working all day long and I'm trying to do a creative project late at night after I've spent all day working on something else, it can be hard for me to get my thoughts together or to be as creative as I need to be. And so I'll finally get up and go to bed. And when I wake up the next morning, I come back renewed and I can pick up where I left off with fresh ideas. So just taking that time to get away. Now, for most of us, doing this every week it really isn't something that's practical starting out. But if you can plan it once a month, those 3 hour blocks to just get up and get away, and then gradually increase it to where you're doing it once a week, making sure that you're focused on something that is not work related. Again, I know that's hard for a lot of us, and for some of you it's easy, um, because it's something that you have already consciously worked into your goals. I have written down exactly what I want to do, but actually doing it is something that I need to put into practice. I didn't post it here in this group, but on my personal page the other day, I posted about how I had written out 20 page. I have a 20 plus page manifesto of my vision for my business, for my life, my family, basically what I want the journey to the end of my career to look like. And I had written my who I needed to be and how I wanted to show up physically. And it had to do with my hair, my clothes, my makeup, my weight. And I wrote this back in March of last year. And when it's something like that has to do with my own physical appearance, that is something that I have control over. It's nothing else that needs to happen for me to become who I need to be to get where I want to, where I want to go. And it just clicked for me a month ago that I have control over this right now. So take action and do it now. So whatever it is that you have, that you said you wanted to do, whatever freedom looks like for you, whatever success looks like for you, don't wait until something happens. Don't wait until the time is right, because there are things, if you go back and you look at it, look at your plans, there are things that you can do right now that don't require any additional time. Well, maybe a little bit of time, but not a lot of time. It doesn't require money. It doesn't require somebody else. Just get it done. So, procrastination is not just something that happens in our specific work and tasks that we have on our desk, but we procrastinate in accomplishing our goals. So look at killing procrastination in that area of your life and becoming more productive. And I guarantee you it'll help to move you forward in your day-to-day operations. So that is all I have to share on the four techniques. And if there are any other techniques that you have used, drop those in the comments, share those with us. But the four techniques for helping us to get more done, or to help us to improve our productivity, not necessarily get more done, but get the things done that we want to get done. But the 5-second rule, pick up that book by Mel Robbins. The Pomodoro method, keeping a time diary and look at areas where we may be wasting time, and time blocking, actually blocking out time to work on specific planned, scheduled tasks. Your strategic blocks for working on strategy and money making activities. Your buffer blocks for working on unplanned tasks, things that just come up. And then your breakout blocks are your scheduled free time to help to rejuvenate and refresh you and kind of stimulate your creativity. So those are our four techniques. And as with last week, pick one or more of them, commit to at least trying one of them to help you improve your productivity. And then next week, we are going to be looking at productivity killers, the things that get in our way to keep us from being more productive. And one of them is, well, it may not surprise you. I think we may have talked about it a little bit last week, or somebody mentioned that it was one of the things that was getting in the way of their productivity. So we'll talk about that on next week, the productivity killers and what we can do about them. And if you found value from this, just let me know. Say yes in the comments, and I will see you all inside the group. Or if we are connected on Facebook, I'll see you on my timeline. You all have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of the week.